The Russian assault on eastern Ukraine continues without respite. Here, the firepower of a multiple launch rocket system is targeting enemy troops in the Zaporizhia region. And the other Russian weapon of choice is the drone, being used in huge numbers along the front lines and also against civilian targets in Ukrainian towns and cities. And it appears to be this indiscriminate drone warfare that has forced Donald Trump to make perhaps the most dramatic reversal of his presidency. Today announcing a major weapons package for Ukraine, being paid for by European NATO allies, alongside new sanctions if a peace deal isn't reached within 50 days.
We are very unhappy, I am, with Russia. This is a very big deal we've made. This is billions of dollars worth of military equipment is going to be purchased from the United States, going to NATO, etc. And that's going to be quickly distributed to the battlefield.
Meeting with the NATO chief today, he said he was tired of Vladimir Putin's tactics and his bluster, revealing that his wife is one of those influencing him.
My conversations with him are always very pleasant. I say, isn't that a very lovely conversation? And then the missiles go off that night. I go home, I tell the First Lady, I spoke to Vladimir today. We had a wonderful conversation. She said, oh, really? Another city was just hit.
Included in the military package for Ukraine will be additional long-range missiles and air defense batteries like the Patriot system.
This is really big.
NATO's Secretary General says he hopes it will force Putin back to the negotiating table.
So if I was Vladimir Putin today and hear you speaking about what you were planning to do in 50 days and this announcement, I would reconsider whether I should not take negotiations about Ukraine more seriously than I was doing at the moment, if I was Vladimir Putin.
But whether Putin takes that advice is far from clear. Russian forces were advancing on the battlefield. His alliance with North Korea gives him extra troops. And the Russian leader may judge that Trump is unlikely to move up the escalation ladder.
Hi, always, sir. How are you, sir? It's good to see you.
In Kyiv today, where President Zelensky was meeting the US envoy General Kellogg, there will at least be much relief that a mercurial American president is providing a new pipeline of weapons. Robert Moore, News at 10, Washington.
And Emma is here to talk about all this. Emma, I guess it remains to be seen how tough Mr. Trump will really get on Vladimir Putin. But in terms of what's announced today, how much difference do you think it'll make to the war?
Well, in theory, it could make a difference. In practice, I don't think it'll make a huge difference. Of course, it's good news that the Patriots are going to get sent. They do need that. We've seen these constant attacks over the past few weeks, the real ramping up of attacks on civilian population centres. So it is important that those Patriots go in. They won't be able to take out the drones, though, which is the real issue for those overnight attacks. They're cheap. They're hard to intercept, and so the Patriots are more crucial for the missiles. But it is important they're going. The bigger issue is this issue about sanctions, and if there is no coming to the table within 50 days, President Trump says that President Putin will see huge sanctions. I think that that could be an awful lot of talk, and we've seen that before. If he does put sanctions on, they'll be the first sanctions he's put on the Russian leader since he came to power. So that is quite significant. But, it was only back in May that I was in Kyiv listening to the British, the French and the German leaders stood next to Vladimir Zelensky, promising that they were going to put in these incredibly tough sanctions. That was Saturday afternoon. They were going to be in by Monday if a ceasefire, an unconditional ceasefire, was not agreed to. And of course, what did President Putin do? He said, oh, well, there's no ceasefire, but I'll come to the table. And he got away with it, and those sanctions were never put in. And I think the other thing that will need to happen is that the Chinese will need to be told, if you keep on buying Russian oil, you're going to get heavily sanctioned. That would be what would really make the difference. But it seems unlikely that that will be the case. In reality, there was 2 deadlines in the last month, one from President Putin, who said that, to actually Donald Trump, that he would, in the next 60 days, ramp up what was going on. And of course, we've today had the 50-day deadline. There's one that the Ukrainians can be absolutely sure of, and that is that President Putin will keep ramping up over the next 60 days.